You'd show up in my city selling a whole lot of drugs.
You gotta use that word allegedly.
Following the release of the trailer for Season 2 of Force, we can finally start breaking down some of the storylines, where we are with certain characters, where their story seems to be heading, and of course, the timeline. But just some more overall thoughts on the trailer and the real first look at what Gary Lennon has in store for us for Season 2. And I do have to start by saying, the writers, cast and crew are really bringing some fire to our TV screens this season. It does feel like a mini reboot to the series with the addition of Miguel Garcia, who has ties to the Mexican cartel, who's bringing brute force, violence, fear, and an overall Narcos cartel vibe to the show. Away from what we didn't see in the trailer, there was no JP, D-Mac, K. Egan, or Shanti Showstopper Page, along with a few others. Now this tells me this season has so many more layers to it than we've seen in the trailer. There's Tommy's backstory, family secrets, and his relationship with Kate, who's most likely moving to Chicago. Shanti Showstopper Page, who seems like a love interest for Jannard, was non-existent in the trailer, but shown to us in one of the promo images. In the trailer, we also see Jannard in a shootout alongside Tommy, not against. So this made me post this on X, which was reposted by 4Starz' official page. So that tells me that him and Diamond have made things right. How and why, we're just gonna have to kind of see how things unfold. But as I mentioned before, this season definitely has more layers to it. And we haven't even touched on law enforcement, which is the main focus of this video. In the trailer, we got a glimpse of Tommy coming face to face with law enforcement, specifically AUSA Stacey Marks. And the way this conversation is going to go down is with Marks telling Tommy he's shown up in a city selling a whole lot of drugs. But this is Tommy Egan, and he knows how law enforcement works. He's been there and done that before with Angela Valdez, Cooper Sachs, Blanca Rodriguez, and countless of others. So he responds with, you have to use the word allegedly. So he knows how the game operates. He's been in the streets since he was a young kid, where he was working for Breeze and Kanan. Now this also stays very true to Tommy we were all familiar with in Power. He never hides from law enforcement or anyone in the streets. He knows the consequences, but yet he remains fearless. But this is what made Power great, this constant back and forth with law enforcement with both Tommy and Ghost, and I really am glad they're bringing this element back to Force. Although the question I now have is, does Tommy need to lawyer up for extra protection? He's in big trouble this season with eyes on him from every single direction. In Tommy's words, they've got enemies eyeing them and cops clocking them. So do you guys think Tommy needs to lawyer up with the quality of someone like Joe Proctor or Davis McLean? We also saw how many jams Joe Proctor was able to get Ghost and Tommy out of in Power, and some of them were pretty tough ones. The same could also be said about Davis and Ghost for Tariq and the Tejadas. So if Tommy's going to be facing the threat of law enforcement, he may need to find someone that can do the same for him in Chicago. As Tariq and Ghost has proved, you need to be well connected in this game, not just in terms of the criminal world, but also with those who can protect you, not just with a gun, but also with a suit and tie. In Ghost, even if Tariq finds himself with his back against the wall at this moment in time, he still is very well connected to people with power, influence, and within law. Now if Tommy does find himself a lawyer that can help, let's see who he brings on board, how he finds them, and also how they navigate law enforcement knowing Tommy's supposed to be dead in New York. And that's another question entirely. What do New York make of all of this with Tommy Egan in Chicago? Now why I feel this is something which needs to be explored in a bit more detail is because law enforcement have uncovered the mystery behind this ghost in Chicago. It seems that they've finally been able to put a name to the face, but surely this would have also been picked up in New York, perhaps by Blanca Rodriguez, who has a huge history with both Tommy and Ghost. So if these images do ever land on Blanca Rodriguez's desk, then I'm sure she's going to want to confirm whether this information checks out for herself, and who knows whether this is something that could bring her over to Chicago and ignite this crossover once again. Put yourself in Blanca Rodriguez's shoes. Don't you think she's someone who would feel like she has unfinished business with Tommy, perhaps trying to finish what she failed to do in New York, and perhaps what Chicago Task Force failed to do as well? The complexities of Tommy's faking his death with the ongoing battle with Stacey Marks is going to force Tommy to navigate some murky waters. So can Tommy continue to invade law enforcement's grasp, or will his past eventually catch up with him? I think we all know law enforcement find it very difficult to get wins in Power, but it doesn't mean they won't make the life of Tommy really difficult. So drop me all your thoughts down below and let me know what you make of AUSA Stacey Marks and Tommy coming face to face. And what do you guys think New York have to say? Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.